Alright, hey guys, remember CCG back in the video. So with this video, I'm going to be bringing Exosister test hands. So this is the test hands for the deck that's on the top right corner. This is for post, the power of the elements. And yeah, so with this first hand, I just kind of wanted to show you guys the power of Exosisters in terms of its like searching ability and what it's able to do because of Maria. So as you can see here, there's only one card we can really activate. Like we can activate the Dimension Shifter, and that'd be really powerful just for our opponent. That if we had like no good hand, this would probably be enough to do something to them. But because we have access to Exosister packs, which lets us search out an Exosister card, then we're actually able to do something here. So here we're going to activate packs. And now I'm going to use Dimension Shifter before the pack hits the grave. And I'm going to get myself Maria. Now I'm going to use Exosister Maria's effect, which lets, if I control no monsters, I can special summon her. And then I can special summon an Exosister Elise from my deck. So you can see right here, this just gives you, the great thing about Maria now is that before with Exosisters, you would need to have two of them in your hand, or at least have one way into going into another. So like you could have one Exosister and then you would have to use your packs to get the other one. But you can see here with just using packs, you can search out Maria, and this kind of shows out what Maria is able to do here. So now that we have two, we're going to go into Elise, and then we're going to detach one. And we're going to get the trap here, so we're getting Returnia. And now that's going to be it. So it's like very simple. It's not too much. The main thing about this hand is that it's just to show you guys like what you're able to do and how you're able to slow down your opponent without really having too strong of a hand. Or without having like too many Exosisters in your hand. So you can see here Dimension Shifter, they're most likely going to rely on the grave. So that means that using Dimension Shifter here to stop them from playing, from having access to that form of the game is really powerful. So yeah, and if the Dimension Shifter doesn't work, then we do have other options. So this most likely will protect you from being one shot at that turn. Just because it's going to be very difficult for them to go full combo without having access to the grave. And yeah, so here we're going to be able to use Vadis next turn. Well, we can use it this turn, but typically we're going to want to use it the turn after, because then, you know, if your opponent has a way to actually interact with the grave, then we're going to be able to actually, get an Exceed monster out of our Exosisters. But if not, it's still fine, because if we use it during our turn, then we can just use them to exceed the normal way, and then they'll be protected that way. And then here we have Exosister Returnia. So Returnia is great because we're going to be able to banish one card that our opponent controls or in their grave. So it's just going to be a way to apply pressure. So since we're just going to have Elise here, that's not going to be able to do much. We're going to have Dimension Shifter, lock them out of the grave. If they try to do something that can get them close to, like starting a combo on the field, then you can just use Returnia to just banish a card on their field. And yeah, I mean, if you're able to just protect this card for another turn too, then you can just Vadis, get the two Exceed monsters, and then you can layer them to get into Elise, and then you can use Returnia to banish one card on their field. And since you Exceed someone that turn, you can banish another card on their field. And you also have Exosister packs, which means you can search out another Maria if your board is somehow lost. And of course, you have an Ash Blossom here as another form of negation. They're going to be slowed down so much that it's going to be pretty much impossible for them to finish you. But yeah, let's go to the second hand. All right, guys, so here's the second test hand. So this test hand is pretty, you can see it's pretty underwhelming. We're going to have two board breakers here, and then an imperm. If it's our first turn, we're not going to be able to do anything with it. So here we're just going to have like really two cards that we're able to use during our turn. So here we're going to go use Maria, because Maria is really good. Use Maria to get out Elise. And now I chose here to, instead of exceeding these two, to instead normal summon my Stella. And now I can exceed these two to go into Elise. And now I can use Elise's effect to search an Exosister trap. And now, so with this, you can see, you might be wondering like why I left Maria here, but the thing about Maria is that if a card is moved out of either graveyard, you can special summon from your extra deck one Exosister Exceed monster using this face-up card you control as material. So unlike the other Exosisters that require your opponent to be moving a card out of either graveyard, Maria lets, if you're the one that does it, then you're also able to trigger her Exceed, or her effect that lets her become an Exceed monster. And then from there, you're obviously going to be able to choose from the other monsters depending on what you need. If you need another Elise to banish a card in their field or in their grave, then that's great. But yeah, so Maria here is going to be like a threat. It's just going to prevent your opponent from wanting to interact with their grave to get things out of there, or you know, just, yeah, basically use any effects to get things out of there. And eventually, if they don't really want to touch it, but they have something there that's valuable to you, or that you want to like get rid of, then you can use this Exosister Returnia, and you can use this in order to banish one card in their grave. And because, you know, you're removing a card in their grave or moving it out of there, that'll trigger Exosister Maria and make her into whatever Exceed Exosister monster that you want. And of course, you still have an Imperm here, so that's great. And then you have the 2 Dark Ruler no mores during your turn in case you still need to come back. But that's going to be a way to get value out of Maria and her unique interaction, that unlike the other Exosisters. But yeah, let's go to the next one. All right, guys, before we go to the third sort of combo that I want to show you guys, if you guys are enjoying the video and want to support the channel, make sure to check the link in the description down below for the Patreon. Or if you want to buy some cards and support the channel, then check out the other link below for the TCG player. But yeah, let's get started here. So here, I'm going to show you guys that with like Exosister Maria and any other Exosister, what you're capable, like how you're able to summon the Magnifica, because you might be wondering like how you're supposed to get that out. If you choose to get it out during your first turn, usually you just want to go into Vadis, like set down a Vadis and then use Vadis' effect to bring out 2 Exosisters, and then when your opponent moves a card out of their grave, then you're just going to be able to exceed both of them, and then the turn after you can turn it into Magnifica. But maybe it's your first turn and you just want to go into an Exosister Magnifica right now, and if that's what you want to do, then this is how you do it. So first, you just use Maria's effect. Maria's effect in order to get Elise. You exceed these 2. Elise. You want to use Elise's effect here to dump the Elise, because then when you use Exosister packs, you're going to be able to use packs to search out Stella, and since you have Elise in the grave that has Stella's name there, you'd be able to use her effect in order to special summon the Stella. And then you can use Stella's effect to bring out whatever Exosister monster you want to take out. It's totally fine if it's another Stella as well. And now you can exceed these 2, go into Caspital, and then use Caspital's effect in order to get yourself a Maria. In case you want to do that, you know, in case you want to use Maria's effect the next turn to set yourself up. But basically, let me just exceed these 2, go into the Magnifica. So yeah, that's how you can get Magnifica out. Now, this isn't the only way you can do it. You can also, instead of going into Elise first, you can go instead into Caspital, and then use Caspital's effect to get whatever like Exosister monster. You're going to want to usually get the Stella out, and then use Stella's effect to special summon out the Exosister that you had in your hand. And then, you know, and then for the second Exosister exceed monster that you summon, you exceed those, and then you search out whatever spell or trap you might need. Maybe you want to get a Vadis, maybe you want to get a Returnia. That's up to you. But that's just a way to show you guys like one way to go into Returnia. But yeah, let's show you guys the final hand. So yeah, guys, here's the final test hand that I wanted to show you. So here, let's just go, you know, with the Maria. You can see that Maria has become an integral card of the deck, just because it lets you keep going. So you're going to exceed these 2, and instead of going to Elise, we're going to go into the Caspital in order to search for the Stella. Now you can normal summon, because with Maria, you did not normal summon it. You special summoned it using its own effect. Then use Stella, summon Sophia. Then you could use Sophia's effect to draw a card. I chose not to do it because I don't really want like that random card there. I just want to show you guys like what I'd be able to do with this hand. But yeah, obviously with change, be getting that extra draw. And now you can use Elise's effect here. Search out a spell or trap. Then I got the Returnia. Now I can exceed these 2 to go into Magnifica. So now with Magnifica, I am going to be able to detach a material to banish one card my opponent controls. And then when my opponent activates a card or effect, I can return one exceed monster you control attached to this card to the extra deck. And then special summon that monster from the extra deck by using this card as material. So basically, I'm able to switch out this guy or this girl with like whatever material she has, and then use that effect. So if I want to, I can go into Elise and then target banish a card on their grave or on their field. So basically I could get 2 banishes using Magnifica here. And then here I'm gonna set 3 cards. So you can see Ash Blossom, that's obviously a generic negate that is very powerful. And here Imperm, just a way to negate a monster on the field. Again, really strong card. Exosister Vadis, being able to use this to bring out 2 Exosister monsters from my deck. And this locks my opponent out of using their grave, or at least intimidates them from using it, just because they know that it'll result in more exceed monsters on my side of the field. And then here, Exosister Returnia, because, you know, this is going to be great, just being able to banish a monster on their side of the field. or and then after that I can choose if they're not like triggering the Exosister monsters that I get out using Vadis, then I can use Returnia in order to exceed summon one of those Exosister exceed monsters. And the great thing about this too is that I can use Vadis to get Maria, and then Maria, since Maria's in her attack she lists Exosister Elise, I can get Maria and Elise. Then I can use Returnia to banish a card in their grave, which will make Exosister Maria into the exceed monster, whichever one you want to use. But then I can also immediately after this effect resolves, exceed summon one Exosister exceed monster using monsters you control. So then I could, if I want to, rank up the other or exceed with the other Exosister. But yeah guys, if you enjoyed the video, make sure to click the link in the description down below for the Patreon if you want to support the channel that way, or maybe you just want to buy some cards through a TCG player, or like, comment, subscribe, and all that. And thank you guys for watching. I'll see you all next time.